Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ariya, and today in the show, I have a very special guest.
Hi, everyone. I'm Salman. I'm happy to be here.
Salman is a good friend of mine, and he's a diehard Emacs user. So, in this session, we're going to do an experiment. Because I'm a good friend, I'm trying to convert him to use Vim. What do you think, Salman?
I'm not sure if you will succeed, but we can give it a try.
Of course. And I think there's a lot of discussion out there how, for instance, people have been using Vim for a long time. And particularly, I think one of the reason is because they don't know how to use, they don't know how to quit Vim, right? So that's a famous quote. Vim has someone has been using VI or the predecessor to Vim for 23 years because if you don't know how to quit, then you're stuck there for a while.
That's a reason that I want to learn about Vim too. My goal is to be able to quit Vim and start Emacs after that.
That's a very decent goal. Obviously, there's a lot of editors out there. Today we're talking about Vim. Next time, someone's gonna taking his turn to teach me how to use Emacs, and maybe at some point, someone should we do Nano?
If you enjoy just making yourself annoyed and enjoy hurting yourself, then sure.
Yep. Of course, it's for those who are not familiar with Spark. The real Spark is supposed to look like this, not like that.
And Nano is supposed to look like an editor.
It is. So let's jump to it. I assume that Salman, you already have installed Vim on your setup.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for those who do not know or do not have Vim yet, the easiest way is just to go to the website. But if you're on modern operating system, you can use the package manager app install Vim, for instance, for Linux, Debian, Ubuntu, or other derivative. We can also use Homebrew on macOS. So just brew install Vim, and then of course on Windows you can use Choco install Vim if it's Choc package manager, or just go to Vim and then download the installer. Now, once you have Vim, like what is shown in Salman's screen here, what we need to do is, of course, to launch it. So let's try it, Salman.
How should I start it? I just type in Vim.
Yes, that's supposed to be very easy.
That should work.
Indeed. Yes. And we have a bunch of, obviously, help screen here. And but who wants to help? Who wants to read? Who reads the manual, right? Nobody.
I just need the second line, :Q, enter.
That's a very fantastic skill. So why don't we try that? Why don't you try that?
So, :Q, enter. Yay!
Woohoo!
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
Yes, I think we can just call this off.
That's going to be a very short show. But at least you won't be stuck using Vim for the next 23 years. So that's already very good. Now, obviously, nice. Just like any editor, what we want to do is to type something. So I think let's launch it again and let's see if you can
go back here.
Type something there.
And oh, by the way, I didn't know Vim stands for VI improved. Okay.
Yes, so there's an old version of standard editor called VI, and you can think of Vim as a modern fork of VI, which has its own benefit too and new features that weren't available in the old VI. All right, let's try to type something.
All right, so hello. No, nothing is happening. Ariya. Oh, something happened, but I don't know how.
And you missed the one letter, right? So this is the problem with everyone who's using Vim for the first time. Before you can type something to the editor, you have to go to the insert mode. And the way to go to insert mode, many different ways. And the most common way is to type I for insert.
I for insert? Yes, I'm in insert mode.
Yes, now you can type something there, and it should appear.
Emacs rocks.
Hard to disagree with that, but Vim also rocks. Now,
okay.
let's try to save this.
Okay, how should I do this? What's the key combination?
It should be colon W, W for right.
Colon, no, it's not. It keeps typing.
Yes. Yes. That happens because you're still in the insert mode. So it doesn't interpret colon W as a command, but it's interpreting as I want to type that. So to leave the insert mode, you have to press escape.
Okay, and on the new keyboard of MacBook is not that great, but okay, this is good now. All right.
Yep. Now you can type colon W.
Colon W. Enter.
Oh, it's complained again. No file name. So you really need to type colon W space and give the file name.
I can't give the file name now?
Yep.
Okay. Now I say max.txt.
Woohoo!
Now I'm saving it.
That's it.
Nice.
Let's
go back, see if it did it.
Yes, let's check if the text is really there or not, or this is just illusion.
Okay, so let's see if the file is here. Yes, is it here?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
So it actually works.
Surprise.
Nice.
Now let's try to continue to edit it. So I think let's try to open Vim or launch Vim and jump to that file right away. I think intuitively you can guess how to do that.
Oh, just like pretty much every other command. So I can do them in X. That should work, right?
Woohoo! Nice. Nice. Let's try to put some more lines.
So for that, I need to go to insert mode. Now I'm going to the end of this. So this should work. Okay, yes. Now here, Vim is cool.
Couple of lines. Nice.
One more. Yes. Ariya is here. Nice.
All right. Not so confusing, isn't it? Now, of course, we don't live in the 80s. So obviously we like our editor to show the line numbers.
Definitely.
It's a trait of modern editors. The way to do this is to use colon set space number. And of course, now you're still in the insert mode. So
I have to go back with escape here. Now I do colon set space number. Enter.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. And the column, the line numbers have a different color. That's nice.
There's also a fantastic trick if you use Vim for a lot of coding, because often when we code, we want to find out the other lines of code relative to our lines. So try this magical command, colon set space relative number.
Colon. Oh, what's happening here? So okay. Colon set space relative
number
space or
no
space?
No space.
Okay, number. Oh, interesting.
Interesting and confusing at the same time. So you can move your cursor.
Oh. This, is it relative to what?
To the where your line is, where your cursor is.
Okay, so all right, so this one, I'm still confused. So why is this 3?
That's the absolute number. That's the third line in the file.
Okay.
But the next number is index starting from 0 because it's not Lua. And below and up above that, you can start to see the
That's nice.
Increasing. Yeah,
I can see how this is useful. If you have a block of text and like you want to count how many lines. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Okay, let's. What else would you do with an editor? Obviously, it's not only about typing stuff and looking at line numbers.
Well, typing is an important part of it, I think, but copy and pasting maybe that's the next thing, right?
Yes. So let's Do you want to keep this relative number, or do you prefer the absolute number?
I think this is a little bit confusing for now. So I go back. So I do set number. This should, nope, it didn't change it.
Set number.
I think that's what I did, right?
Yep.
So set relative number or unset. Can you unset something?
Unfortunately, no. Here's the trick. I won't tell you how, but here's the trick that I normally do if I get stuck. Just quit Vim.
Okay, like Windows.
At least we don't need to restart it.
98, yes.
And restarting this fast.
I have to do Q bang.
Yes, nice. Which means that you're going to lose the text, but that's okay.
Yes. Now we're back.
Yes, and then there's no numbering because whatever we configure wasn't safe. And later on, we can try to write vim rc that makes this configuration persistent. Woohoo!
Okay.
We get back to where we are. So let's say you want to copy some text, right? Now selecting the text is easy. Just press V. Make sure you're not in the insert mode. And then if you press V and then you move the cursor around, that should select the text.
V.
Yep.
What does V stand for?
That's a good question. I never know.
Okay.
But then, yes, and then if you want to copy it, you can press Y.
Okay, for yanking.
Yes, technically it's yanking to the buffer, but let's ignore buffers for now. And then if you press P, it's gonna copy that wherever your cursor is.
Do I have to be in insert mode or no?
No.
Okay, so if I'm here and then press P.
Exactly.
Okay, nice.
This is very fascinating now. Now, of course, sometimes you want to copy the entire line or several lines, but I'm going to show you how to copy one line first. Instead of just pressing Y, just press Y twice. So Y.
But Y? Okay, this is good.
And then if you press P.
P again.
Yep.
Okay, insert a line.
It's going to
nice.
Paste that line that you just copy into the buffer to the next one.
Nice.
And a very important concept in Vim is that you can also put numbers before any command that you have. And that indicates how many times that command needs to be executed. For instance, if you go back to line 1 first.
Okay.
And then you press 2YY, because YY copies one line, right? You can guess what 2YY means.
Oh, copies 2 lines. Okay, that's interesting. And now if I go back and then here I do P.
Exactly.
Nice. What if I do 2P? Is it going to copy this 4 times?
We'll find out.
2P. Yes, nice. All right.
So we have to imagine that Vim is like a robot that works for us. And when you issue certain commands, you can multiply the number of commands just by assigning numbers. Now, a bunch of important navigation. Obviously, for modern terminal and modern Vim, you can always use arrow keys to move around. But it's also possible to use H, J, K, L to navigate your way.
L is going right, H is going back. Okay, J. Okay, J is going 1 line down and then the previous line up with K. Nice.
And then,
okay, this is convenient.
There's also a bunch of useful navigation. I don't remember many of them because I hardly use it. But the one that always sticks in my mind is W, stands for word. So if you press W, basically it jumps to the next word.
Okay, this is useful too. I usually do that in Emacs with option and arrow key. This is doing that as well. Yes.
And if you know how many words you're gonna skip, you can guess what you need to put in front of that.
This is cool. Okay, so 2W. Okay. Yes. 2W.
And the same applies to H, J, K, L. And remember, with J and K, you move one line up and down. And if you combine this to this relative number, then it's very useful because you can see the screen. You want to jump to a certain line. Oh, that's for up.
That's nice. Yes.
Just type for K.
Okay, that's really nice. Yeah. That's useful.
At some point, it becomes a muscle part of your muscle memories. If you ask me point blank, I wouldn't even know which key I need to press. I need to look. I need to imagine that I'm doing that and look at my keyboard because that's how we do things. All right.
When I do that for Emacs, I usually forget. Then even I lose my muscle memory when I want to pay attention to what I'm doing.
It has to be automatic, right? Otherwise,
yes.
All right. So, yeah, what else would you do? Maybe opening multiple files because
that can be the next natural thing, I think.
Okay, why don't you quit this? Or why don't you? Here's the trick: if you want to save the file because it already has the file name, then you can type :W.
:W.
Yep.
Enter.
Enter. But if you want to, after this, you can quit using :Q. Right. However, if you want to save and then quit,
probably
you can do that in one
WQ.
motion. Yes, you can use W :WQ, but that's one letter too many. And I've seen a lot of experienced Vim users do that. There's a magical shortcut for that, and it's called ZZ capital. And this is fantastic because Z is very close to the shift letter.
Nice.
And then you just quickly double tap Z while holding the shift. That means save and quit.
Okay, that was interesting.
All right, let's start new.
And it's kind of like intuitive because that's how you send like an application to the background. So
right, yeah,
nice.
Beside the key is very close, unless you have different keyboard layout.
True.
So you could do it with just 2 fingers. Now let's try to edit the different files.
Okay. So I open Vim without any, well, let me create another file here. How about that? So I do another file, vim.txt. And now I can open Vim. Okay, let's just do this. Now I want to open 2 files.
Yes. If you know the file name, you can use :E and then spacebar, and then I assume you have modern Vim, so I should have the autocomplete. If you press space first and then.
So if I do, yes. It does. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And enter. It's opening it.
Obviously still empty. And then if you want to open your previous files, the emacs.txt, you can still do that. Type again.
:E.
Yep.
Emacs.txt.
All right.
Nice. And excuse me, one of my applications just opened up. I'm closing that. So
that's okay. We can still see your screen.
So this is a problem that I have with my MacBook that randomly the Mail app opens. I don't know if many people have the same problem or not. It's apparently like a common thing, but.
And then it disrupts the other application.
Yes, it just opens in the middle of everything.
So technically, every time you do this :E, it puts the file in the buffer, and you can always switch between previous and next buffer. In other words, your previous file didn't completely disappear from memory. So if you use :BP buffer previous.
Buffer previous. Enter. Okay, nice.
And then if you
can I see the list of all the buffers? Oh, probably buffer next. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's
how about if I do buffer next? Is it rotating or no?
Yes,
it is.
Okay. Another nice things, especially when we're doing coding, is to do split view. So you can do :SP split. Yeah. There you go.
Nice.
And then to switch between this, you have to press Control W and then followed by W. I assume it's going to be
Oh, that's
command.
getting
Yeah.
confusing. Control W,
And
follow up
then
with W.
yeah,
Okay.
there's some Emacsism right now.
Yes,
You can feel
exactly.
it.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. And then, for instance, in that whatever split window that you have, you can do the BPS.
Yes. Now I have
So
this
this is
on.
very useful.
Oh, so split window does it on your current buffer.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Unlike a typical editor, there could be multiple buffer and there could be multiple views. So this is a truly model view approach.
But it doesn't duplicate the buffer. It's like
it doesn't. So whatever you
it's
type
similar
there,
to Emacs. There is windows on top
correct.
of buffers. Okay. Nice.
And if you want to close the buffer, just use the colon Q.
So
it actually doesn't quit Vim. Colon Q just closes the buffer, and if it's the last buffer, then you quit the app.
What if I want to close all buffers?
I don't know. That's a good question. I never did that.
Okay.
Let's do vertical split, and it's very similar. The variant is that colon VSP, vertical split.
VSP, nice. And again, I can go with that Emacs combination.
Yes.
From one to another. Okay, it was Control WW. Nice.
And let's do some funky stuff. You can do colon tab new, TABNEW. Oh, without space.
Oh, no space. Okay. Tab new. Wow.
And in
now
this,
they're having tabs. Nice.
Yes, and now in this tab, if you want to do a split view, vertical split, multiple buffer, you could do that again. And if you want to cycle between this tab window, use colon GT.
Colon GT. What?
Oh, looks like that might be my personal setup.
Which is probably a good question to for me to ask. How can you personalize this? Because that's a common thing that you do in Emacs. So yes, how can I personalize my Vim?
We can do Vim RC, but just to close the loop on this, actually without colon. So you just type GT. I forgot. If you press G and T,
GT.
Yes.
Okay.
Then you
now it's the next
keep cycling between tabs.
GT. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
Can I give a name to my tab?
Ooh, I think it's the name of the buffer or the file that you're working on.
Okay, but the one that has no name because I'm on that more than two buffers. You know. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's because you haven't opened anything yet.
Okay.
So there's also a GUI version of Vim that doesn't run entirely in terminal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a truly, let's say, a desktop application. Mm-hmm. And you can guess in that desktop application, when you create this tab view, it creates a true tab,
nice.
Just like Chrome and others.
Yes.
All right. Actually, we don't want to spend too much time, learning Vim here. We're already beyond the minute 20 mark.
That was really nice. I think I learned a lot in this short session. Actually, surprisingly, to a point that I want to learn more. So I'm going to play with it.
Yes, and then we can maybe whenever we decide to do the next session, we can talk about Vim RC and customizing it, doing plugins, turning Vim into full-blown IDE, because we haven't talked about both the built-in autocomplete as well as the language autocomplete that can be implemented or integrated into Vim very easily. This is why people like Vim.
That's nice. Then we can do a session that we have editor wars. I teach you Emacs, then you can battle me with Emacs and I battle you with Vim.
That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yes.
All right. That is the show for today. Thank you, Salman, for being a willing participant/victim. And yeah, I like this. I don't know about you.
I really enjoyed it and I learned something. So that was great. Thank you.
All right. Let's do it next time. All right,
yes,
everyone.
Definitely.
Stay safe, take care, and until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.